Welcome again to another tutorial in IronCAD on Too Tall Toby's practice models. This is on June 2nd. This is a drag hook and fairly simple model here. We have basically just a straight segment. An arc segment has an 18-degree angle back from the center point of this arc, and we have some slot features here and some key reference information, like this extends out from a certain distance from the center point, and it's just giving us some width values and a length value for this. So anyways, it's just some backwards math to calculate these, but fairly simple to do, and we'll show you how to do this in IronCAD. And again, I'm going to do it a little bit different than you might think. In traditional CAD, you might just start with a 2D profile, draw this section with a line and an arc, and angle that back, and then offset, extrude it through, and then do your other shapes on side of here. So I'm just going to show you a little bit different way to do it in IronCAD. So let's hop over there and we'll show you this. So first thing we're going to do, so I'm going to start out with an extrude feature. Again, I'm going to start without doing any sketches here. We're going to start with that 14 millimeter length, and we know the width of this is 3, actually 6. The radius is 3 on that, so it's 6 total, and we're going to do the total height of this, which is the arc on the back side, which has a value of 4, so that's going to be 8 for the height for that shape. So that's our starting point inside of here. And next I'm just going to drop a cylinder on here. So this is going to give me my arc information here. So we know it's on the center point of this. That's where it starts. So we're just going to drop that on here, size it up to here, and we're just going to flip the extrude direction, and we're holding our shift key down to snap to the other side, just to give you an idea how that was done. We're just snapping by holding the shift key down. So that gives us our starting point for this. And we know it has a thickness of 1.5, so we can just simply do a shell on this part, so we can just access that from our modify ribbon bar or right click menus. And we're just going to shell out all these faces here, and we're going to set that as a 1.5 and hit OK, and that will give us our starting shape here. So that's a simple way to just draw that versus going into a sketch to draw that information. So next, we know this end is rounded, so we're just going to do our blend command. Inside of here we have a full round, so we could actually just simply select our front face, rotate around, select our second face, and we can hit tab if you'd like to go to the next one, and hit center to get our shape. So that gives us a full round from that location there, and gives us our starting shape inside of there. So now we've got that created. So next, let's go ahead and do our slot feature here. So I'm going to drop a slot. It doesn't really matter where you drop it. I'm just going to drop it here, for example, and we're going to know the overall size of this. Again, it's got a 3.5 diameter on that, and it's got a radius, or sorry, the length of it is 4, so we're gonna have to add that together. So let's do that. So it's gonna be 4 plus the 3.5 is the overall size of that. So that should be correct there to give us our size. And again, our size width of that is 3.5, and it's got a depth of 0.5 from the profile. And I'm just going to position this using the TriBall. That's hitting F10 or Q on your keyboard. And I'm going to hit the space bar and simply move it over to our center point, and if you hold the shift key down, it'll snap to that center point. And I'll hit the space bar again to now move the shape and the TriBall, and I'm just going to use this plane because I want to keep it on the same surface. And I'm going to click that surface there and hit to center point of that to move it into its location. So that gives us a perfect location where this is on center of that arc. Next, we can drop the next slot in here for the cut feature, and we'll just drop that on the center. And again, on this one, it's got a 2 width, so that's going to be 2 plus, so that's going to be a total 4 on the length. Oops, sorry, wrong one. Sorry, the length of that, is 4, and the width of that is 2, and that's going to be a through. So we're just going to pull this through, and you can snap it to the bottom if you like to get that. So that'll give you the shape there. Actually, did I get that right? That is, make sure I've got that. Oh. The overall length is 4 plus the 2. Sorry, that should be 6 on that. There we go. There we go. That looks better. So now we've got that shape built. Again, this is just using drag and drop shapes inside of here. We're going to use a sketch to create those if you like, but that's just another way to do it. Next, I'm going to do this cut extrude. I'm going to drop it right on the center here, and we know that it has a width. I'm going to right click and drag this of 2. So we'll set that, and now we can just pull these handles through to cut that through. So we'll just cut that through the top and the bottom. And I'm just going to pull this out a little bit. So we don't know the depth of this by any dimensions here. We're going to refer to this center point here. So it's 7 millimeters from an arc that's on this. So instead of using a sketch again, I'm just going to drop a cylinder here, and I'm going to put that on there and hold the shift key down to snap that to that side to make that line up correctly. So now we've got our cut here, and what you can do is hold down your shift key, select both shapes, because we want to move both of these. We're going to use the TriBall again. And again, the reference from this is actually, we're going to hit the space bar and move it out to this outside and hit the space bar again. And we know that that distance, if you lock this down here, we're going to know that distance is from the center point, at a distance from the center point of this, which is going to be a total distance of 7. Okay, so a very easy way to do that, moving both shapes inside of there. So that kind of gives our shape there. Next, we're going to put these 2 holes here, and I'm going to start with the one on the side. So we'll just drop it on the side here. Doesn't really matter where. We know that it has a diameter of 0.65 inside of there, and we're going to use our TriBall again to line this. So we do know that it's on the center of this, so we're just going to snap that to a center point on that edge. And we know it has a distance from this edge here, so we'll just lock this down at a distance from our point, which is that point, and that has a distance of 1 for that one. So that places that hole there. Next, I'm going to make another copy over here, so I'm just going to make a linked copy. In our case, I'm going to use this plane handle again, and I'm going to say to center point, and instead of just left clicking, I can right click and say make a linked shape of this. So I'm going to make a linked copy of that, and notice that I can't see that shape. And you can turn the TriBall on to actually pop up on that copied shape, but I just did it without that so you can see this. We do have our feature tree here with all our features. We can turn our TriBall on that feature now that we have it selected. It's floating in shape, that's why it's red. Or floating in space, that's why it's red. And we're just going to snap that directly over to our quadrant point there. And again, it's going to move back in 0.75, the center of that. Now, since I made these linked, I can move either one of these. It doesn't matter. It's not a parent-child relationship. I can move either one of these, delete either one. Doesn't really matter, but they both have the same geometry, so that needs to go all the way through. So I'll just pull the top one through, and the bottom one goes through with it. And last but not least, we need to do our draft and our blend on this top piece here. So what we can do on this is do a draft face. So we'll just do our draft face, and what we can do is for a neutral plane, I can pick this face here. Now it's actually not drafting from that, it needs to be in the center point up here. So what we can use, again, that TriBall is used everywhere in IronCAD, so we're just going to move this up and vertically over to the center point of our arcs there. And we can turn off our TriBall and then just pick our faces and type in our value of 18 degrees. That gives us our 18 from the center, and rotate that around. So a very easy way to do that when you don't have a datum plane or inside of there. So in typical systems, you'd have to actually create a datum plane there to draft from that, or you have to do a move face or draft face direct editing to do that. But we can do it with our draft face and our TriBall. Last, we'll just do these blends on here, and these have a value of, let me just double check that. They have a value of 1 in both places there, so we'll go ahead and hit that and hit OK. So that is essentially our shape, and if we go over to our properties, we should see that we have a mass density from what they call out a 7800, and it gives us a mass of 38.8 inside of there. So there you go, and that's how you can build this in IronCAD again. We didn't use any sketches really in this model to build this. We can do it all through our shapes. It's just a different way of thinking. You can build it fairly quick this way without going in through the offsets and drawing profiles, drawing datum planes. You can use the TriBall to do most of your movements in IronCAD. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. Just a different way of designing in CAD. Enjoy.